Good evening, everyone. It's now 6:30, and I call to order the regular meeting of the Victoria City Council. It's our tradition to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand and join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on our agenda tonight is announcements. The City Council will meet for the annual all-day workshop on Tuesday, April 11th at 9 a.m. at Charleston Meadows to review and discuss our 2021 through 2023 strategic plan progress. Hands-only CPR class on Tuesday, April 18th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. will be held at the Victoria Fire Department. Pre-registration is required, and it is a free community resource. All meetings of the City Council are open to the public and held in the council chambers at City Hall, unless otherwise noted. If you're interested in speaking at a council meeting, we encourage you to contact our city clerk for more information. Next on the agenda is our proclamations. There is one proclamation this evening, which I will read from the dais. It is a proclamation recognizing April 22nd, 2023 as Earth Day. Whereas Earth Day was first celebrated on April 22nd, 1970 to inspire an appreciation of the natural world through conservation and protection, and whereas the recognition of this day marks a commitment to environmental stewardship and to the implementation of efforts to improve, protect, and enhance the environment, and whereas the City of Victoria, the City of Lakes and Parks, is known for its vast natural amenities, including its open spaces, wetlands, woodlands, and rolling hills. And whereas the City of Victoria encourages residents to get outdoors and participate in Earth Day activities, such as community cleanups, water conservation, and tree plantings. Therefore, I, Deborah McMillan, Mayor of Victoria, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2023 as Earth Day in the City of Victoria. Our next order of business is to adopt the final agenda. Council, can I get a motion to adopt the final agenda?
Motion to adopt the final agenda.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is open forum. Open forum is the opportunity for anyone to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda or not an application form that will be coming to the council at a future date. Please do not expect action from the council this evening regarding your comments. Council members may ask clarifying questions, but open forum is not intended to be a back and forth discussion. This evening, Representative Jim Nash will be joining us, and I don't see Representative Nash as yet. So we'll go on to the next one. Judy Black has also registered to speak this evening. Judy, welcome. Please approach the podium. State your name and address for the record. Welcome back to the council chambers.
Kind of weird being on this side. Judy Black, 1938 Woodstone Drive. I know you have a strategic planning session tomorrow, so I made up some packets for you that I have some opinions on, and I would like to share them with you, and hopefully you can discuss them tomorrow. Okay. I can pass them out.
Thank you.
I won't go through the whole thing because I guess some of it I can't talk about. But the reason that I made up the packet was because when you had your workshop, I was a little disappointed with the way things went because I had sent an email with information to all of you, and when the presentation was made, there were quite a few errors in the numbers, which made my emails look like they were wrong, and they weren't. And so I wanted to make sure that you understood some of the things, especially with the processes. The Planner said that there was a property, well, it's in there. And then also he trivialized the comp plan, saying that it was a vision. And it is a vision, but it's also a framework for everything that we do here for the citizens of Victoria. And I've highlighted some of the things that I feel are important, like what is a comprehensive plan? It's a primary guide for community growth. Comprehensive plan is the single most important collection of policies and action steps that help guide local decisions. It is intended to be a dynamic document that is regularly reviewed and updated. And then there's more that I covered for you. So, and when he said that there was a consulting company that did it, well, it was more than that. It was a 2-year process. We had a steering committee, we had the planning commission, we had people making comment from the community. They were setting up booths at the car shows and the art shows, and there was a lot put into this, and there was a lot of thought put into this, and this is what the community said they wanted. And that's why we need to make sure we listen to them on those things. So then I also went through what our codes are on building, what conditional use permit is, and these uses require particular consideration as to their proper location in relation to adjacent establishments or intended use or the planned development of the city. So you have to take these things into consideration when you're looking at applications. The purpose of the PUD, planned unit development, is to allow innovative, creative, and flexible development that is sensitive to the environment, cultural, economic considerations, and partnerships with public values as outlined in the comprehensive plan. Features of the property itself or the surrounding neighborhoods through the development of a PUD will conserve a physical or topographical feature of importance to the community. There's also density. The PUD shall conform to the density as outlined in the comprehensive plan unless development can demonstrate conservation subdivision design. Modifications. A PUD may allow for modification to the strict application of regulations of conventional zoning districts, but will be in harmony with the goals, policies, and intent of the city's comprehensive plan and the code. So you have to take all of that into consideration. I won't go, the other things are some examples of what I'm trying to articulate, and I have some considerations that you might want to consider listed. And I want to thank you for letting me speak today. And I hope you do talk about this tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Ms. Black.
Thank you.
We always appreciate your research, Judy. I still do not see Representative Nash, unless he's snuck in the back. So can we carry on with consensus from the council? I think we'll carry on with our agenda and take him when he shows up. Does that work? All right. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that's not on the agenda or not an application form that will be coming to the council at a future date? All right, seeing no one, we'll move on to our agenda. The next item is our consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are routine, administrative, and do not require deliberation, or are housekeeping items that are required by law. Consent agenda items are approved with one vote unless someone requests an item to be considered separately. Ms. Hardy, does staff wish to pull any consent items for separate discussion and vote?
None from staff, Madam Mayor.
All right, anyone in the audience that would like to pull something from the consent agenda for separate discussion and vote? Council, anyone on council who would like to pull a consent agenda item?
No, Mayor.
All right. Seeing no one, can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I have a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We are now moving on to our regular agenda. We do have quite a few items on the regular agenda this evening, so we'll get right to it. Item 6.1 is an introduction to new city staff. Ms. Hardy, this is your item, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, this evening we have a number of new staff that we have hired, probably over the last several months. And we, because we have so many new faces at the city, we thought that this would be a great opportunity for the council and for our residents and community members to really put those faces, those names and faces together. So we wanted to take a few minutes here this evening to allow council and the community to meet the newest members of Team Victoria. So with that, I'm looking at Trenton. I think we're just going to have them simply
Come on up and
say their name, maybe the title, and maybe a quick sentence or two about what their role is here at the city.
Perfect. Good morning, or good evening, Mayor and Council. Trenton Close, Deputy Fire Chief. I've been in this role for approximately a month now. I've served in the paid on-call role for the last 7 years. So I'm really looking forward to this opportunity and never thought I would ever be in this position, but here we are. So, and then in this new position, I'm in charge of our training division. So I oversee all of our Monday training as well as all of our outside training. And then I'm also in charge of our operations division. So overseeing apparatus, equipment, turnout gear, PPE, everything like that, as well as helping our daytime call response, and then also helping with our community events. So that's my main responsibilities, and helping out anywhere else I can. So
awesome.
really
Well,
happy to be here and look forward to working with all you.
not a new face to the city of Victoria, but a new position. So congratulations on your promotion and your full-time gig now with the fire department.
Thank you.
And I know the chief appreciates that because he needs some help.
Great. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, we'll just keep rolling.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody. My name is John Menzel. I started about 7 months ago now. I'm in the Public Works Parks Department and plowing snow and taking care of all the grounds. So
Perfect.
happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Randy Herzog. I've been with Public Works since August of 2021, and I just recently taken on the role as Parks Lead, and I'm looking forward to making Victoria beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm Dwight Thomas, and I'm finance specialist, newly created position for us, and working with utility billing and customer service.
Awesome. Welcome, Dwight.
Hello, my name's Laura Foy. I've been with the city since October of 2021 in utility billing, and then recently switched over to finance specialist.
Awesome. Welcome, Laura. So this is important to note that Laura and Dwight are a daughter-father
Yes, he is my
job
dad.
share team. So that's interesting. We're keeping it all in the family here. And we understand there's been no family fighting going on. Terrific.
Hello to council. My name is Will Buhager. I'm the associate planner for the City of Victoria and Lake Trenton. I've been here for going on a little over a month now. I assist Jen in the Community Development Department with the review of zoning and building permits and helping Planning Commission and taking meeting minutes for them. I'm also in charge of code enforcement for the city, and I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. We're glad to have you, Will. We're going to keep you very busy.
Good.
All right. Thanks.
I think that's everyone.
Awesome. Well, welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Moving on, item 6.2 is to review the 2023 proposed work plan for the Park and Rec Committee. Kicking us off this evening is Park and Rec Director Ann Monkey. Miss Monkey.
Thank you, Mayor and
Welcome.
Council. This evening, I'm going to just provide a quick summary of the planned work plan for 2023. Within your packet is a full listing of all those projects that we will work on, and some of them are ones that we do as a routine, and others are ones that are project related. So with that, Lakeside Estates Park Phase 2 development will be coming to the council at the next meeting. It is a 3.4 acre outlot that was acquired through the development just north of Marsh Lake Road and south of Isabel. So that bids were opened on Thursday this last week, and things are looking good with that, so that will come before you at the next meeting. Also, a couple different trail and sidewalk projects. Bavaria Trail East, one project that I've been working on for a number of years, so we're excited to get a portion of that trail done this year. In addition, we'll be working on the Green Crest sidewalk. Both these projects were bid with the Steger Lake Lane West project in order to try to get a lower bid for them. So we are on track with those as well. The pickleball courts approved last year and started construction last year. We'll be looking to complete those this spring and early summer, and hopefully having people play on them as soon as we can, because I know everybody's excited about that. So another project that we'll be working on is skate park relocation. Quotes are due tomorrow, actually, so this one I hope will be coming to you also at the next council meeting. One of the things that we are working with the school district on is the recreation center roof replacement. We've got about 60,000 square feet of roof that the school district is working on getting bids for those, and I plan to have those by the 19th, and then again it'll be on the council agenda for the 24th. So there'll be a lot of projects coming before you during that meeting. So also, we finished up just last year our 3-year EAB management program, and we did approve another 3-year program with Rainbow Tree Care. So they'll be out working on all our street trees and park trees this summer. In addition, residents are able to get a discounted rate for private trees if they have them on their property, and Rainbow will be happy to come out and assist any resident that's interested in that program as well.
Ms. Monkey, can you go back to the nasty looking bugs? Why are we looking at?
The emerald ash borer is on our left, and the 6-spotted tiger beetle on the right. It just kind of gives you an idea of what the actual size of the emerald ash borer is. They're not very big, so just to
designate or
right.
determine whether you have one or the other.
Right. Or there are several of them, actually bugs that look like the emerald ash borer, but they're not. So
okay, realizing this is
just a comparison.
This is not an entomology class. Realizing that, the emerald ash borer. I understand we've seen emerald ash borer confirmed as close as Chanhassen. Have we actually seen any in Victoria?
Yes, actually, it was discovered in Victoria last year on the very eastern side of Victoria, within the Arboretum, and there were also several trees on the east side of Victoria along one of our trail systems that was suspected to have it. So it's here.
All right.
So,
very invasive, very bad for
yes.
ash trees. So if you have
if
these
you've
in your
got
yard,
if you've got ash trees and they're nice trees in your yard, I would strongly recommend getting a hold of Rainbow Tree Care or another arborist or another company that does treatment for EAB. So,
all right, thank you.
In addition, we will be working again concerts in the park in conjunction with the Classic Car Nights, and then every other Wednesday when they are not here. Also, a lot of different special events we have planned for this year. Several with other departments, so it's going to be another busy summer for us as far as concerts and special events. One of the new programs that we rolled out this past year is called VicFit. It's kind of a new branding program for us, for all our fitness programs, just to get an identity. And so far, we've had some pretty good luck with promoting the program and encouraging folks to participate in it. And last but not least, our recreation programs. The summer brochure recently went out to all the residents in Victoria, and we've got another lot of different recreation programs for all the folks in the community. So we're hoping that people will be excited and jump into some of those. So our usual standard programs. So with that, again, highlights of the work plan that I just recently went through. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about it. If not, would be looking for a motion to approve the work plan for 2023.
Ms. Monkey, thank you very much. Council, questions, comments for Ms. Monkey?
Just one quick one.
Councilmember
It's on our
Evansky.
packet. There's the promotion of the 20th anniversary of the Recreation Center.
Yes.
How's that going?
We were able to do that through March. March 3rd actually was our official 20-year anniversary. So we did have a big banner placed outside the rec center. And unfortunately, one of those last storms that went through decided to demolish it. But we did have cookies and coffee available during that last week or that first week of March. So,
Council.
It was just saying,
Councilmember Evansky.
inclement weather aside, a 20-year anniversary is a significant milestone.
Indeed.
It's been a jewel in the city since I've moved here, which is 21 years ago. So congratulations to the city on being able to provide that kind of service to our community. And
Awesome. Thank you.
keep going. Thank you.
All right. Other questions, comments from staff or council? I would just say the schedule for the concert and the events that are going on, I trust that those will all be on the website for the community to find, and we will also see stuff on our social media channels. So tune into those to find out what's going on in Victoria this summer. So seeing no more discussion from council, I will take a motion to approve the 2023 work plan for the Park and Rec Department.
I'll make a motion to approve the Parks and Recreation Department's work plan for 2023.
Awesome. I have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda, item 6.3, is a review of the 2023 proposed work plan for the Planning Commission. Presenting that this evening is our Community and Development Director, Jen Brewington. Ms. Brewington, welcome, please.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. So based on the direction from the City Council strategic plan, this is where we came up with our work plan for the 2023 Planning Commission. So first bullet here is we're going to hear and provide recommendations to the City Council on all sketch plats, preliminary plats, variances, conditional use permits, and other planning and land use applications. We're going to continue a review of Section 20-7, parking requirements for the Central Business District. We are going to review and provide recommendations to the City Council on other zoning code sections as identified and presented by staff. We are going to review and provide recommendations on proposed process improvement ordinances and policies to simplify and clarify city code and city development policies. We are going to receive or attend trainings to refresh or learn current best practices for planning commissioners. And we're going to provide a mid and end year report on the work plan progress to the City Council. With that, very short presentation. As you know, we're a very busy department right now. I'm happy to answer any questions with that.
All right, thanks, Ms. Brewington. Council, questions, comments? Okay, just a note, we do have a lot of stuff going on here in the city of Victoria, so I would encourage the public to keep an eye on our agendas to note when the public comments are available and public hearings for taking the public comment on all the projects that we have coming forward. Please watch that, watch our social media channels again. We really try and keep that out in front of folks so that they know how and when to comment. So with that, seeing no further discussion, I will entertain a motion.
And I'll make a motion to adopt the 2023 Planning Commission work plan.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next agenda item is 6.4, consideration of the Marsh Hollow Second Edition Final Plat. Presenting this evening is our consulting city planner, Nathan First. Mr. First, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening, everyone. So we are looking at Marsh Hollow Second Edition. This is a final plat for development called Marsh Hollow. So in terms of the overall development review process, I kind of like to always start with where we are, and where we are is at that last stage. The final plat is sort of the last step where we're finalizing details of the development, working on the development agreement, and really dotting I's and crossing T's. So about this development, the location of this project area is just northwest of the intersection of Highway 10 and 11. The actual parcel is an outlot that was part of the Marsh Hollow First Edition plat. This outlot that they're proposing to final plat and make residential lots out of is just over, or just under rather, 11 or 12 acres, so it's 11.72. They are proposing to final plat 59 single-family homes. Notably, this is a little bit more of a unique type of housing. These are single-family rentals, so these are homes for rent. This is the second phase of what we expect to be 3 phases in the subdivision to complete the build out of the planned development. Currently, this development is actually already zoned as PUD with that R1 underlay, so it already has the entitlements that it needs in terms of zoning and land use for the standards that are going to be those that lots are governed under. So all of that said, there has been kind of a lot of review to date, starting in April of 2021 with sketch plat review. Preliminary plat for this development was approved in August of 2021. The first edition final plat was approved in February of 2022. So right around a year later, we're back for the second edition. So the preliminary plat is really tough to see on the screen. I apologize. You can kind of see the general shape of the development, and if you look really closely at the screen, you can see sort of the lots are sort of ghosted in. It's not really very easy to see here, but there are a number of single-family homes, and then there are in the southwest part of this development and in the northeast part of the development, it's attached townhomes. So this preliminary plat was approved in August of 2021. Approved with the first edition final plat. This is the final landscaping plan that you see on the screen. Really what we're looking at is two things relative to this phase. One is buffer trees that separate the development from the railroad line that runs sort of, you could say, east to west on the south end of the development. And then in addition, you see the required lot trees on each residential lot, same as any other single family home development. Okay, I'm just going to skip right past that one. So this is the final plat that we are reviewing currently. This is for the second edition. Again, 59 units here. This final plat, I should note, is exactly what the city was expecting in terms of the layout of the lots, the layouts of the streets, and the other improvements that are required for a development. So this graphic is just to tell you that there's the landscaping. You can see all of the locations of all the trees on the screen here. Really, the story with this image is just that these trees will be installed in different phases. So staff are reviewing it accordingly. The proposed landscaping and the phasing of this does meet the city's expectations given the previous approvals. So again, already approved for the development, but here are the lot standards. And then I'm going to move on. So generally speaking, what are we looking at when we review final plats? We're looking at the density proposed. Does it meet what was already approved? Same for landscaping, making sure in this case the berm and buffer met the city's expectations. It does. Parks and parkland dedication, we have worked through a lot of that during the first edition. And then lastly, making sure the trails and sidewalks meet the approved plans as well. From an engineering perspective, The city is reviewing the final plat and construction plans for conformance, again, with the standards the city has for those things. It's making sure the grading, drainage, and erosion control is consistent with the past approvals and city standards, and then that streets and utilities are to code and to standard. So staff are recommending approval because this final plat is consistent with previous approvals. We are proposing 12 conditions of approval. These are mostly standard, I would say, for a final plat review. So we can go through them if you have questions, but staff is again recommending approval. And that would be with the resolution that is attached to the staff report.
Thank you.
So I think, sorry, one additional thing, Mayor. I'm not sure if we have anyone representing the development here, but they said that they might be available if you have questions about the development, because this is a rather unique type of housing. So
Certainly. Council, questions?
I have a couple of questions, Nick.
Councilmember Ivansky, please.
What's the expectation, if you know of any, when the third edition might be brought for the owner-occupied townhouses?
in terms of timing?
Yes.
So, Counselor, to answer your question, I don't know that I can answer it with a really clear date at which we expect it. I would suggest asking the developer if they have an idea of when that might come in.
Please come on, approach the podium and state your name and state your name and address for our record.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Peter Knably with Golden Valley Land Company. My address is in Golden Valley, Minnesota. Just the question in regards to the townhomes, Phase 3, we expect that to come to the city next winter for a 2024 construction.
And those are owner-occupied versus rental?
Right now, they're planned to be, yes.
Okay. A question, and I'm not sure who to address this question to, but I know that these phases are for rental. At some point, does anything prohibit those from being sold as single-family properties? Is there
They
anything?
would have to, they would have to change their homeowners association, for the entire project and get that agreed to and then change it that way.
So in this,
I'm sorry.
Please.
The housing rental component of the project is handled through Ian Peterson, their company, who we're working with, and he's here tonight. If you've got a specific question, he might be better able to answer that.
Okay.
So.
The other question that I would have in regard to the rental is, do you have on-site management?
Yes.
For the rental?
Yes. Yep. And he can
Mr.
confirm
Pierce,
that,
do you
yes.
want to talk about that? Thank you, Mr. Knably. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Ian Peterson, Marsh Hollow owner LP, I think is the entity that owns it in Eden Prairie.
Okay.
So thank you for having me. The question, we do have on-site maintenance, full-time, on-site leasing, full-time. It gets easier once the clubhouse is up and built, which we're hoping to start here this summer.
Certainly. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
What is the cost that we're looking at? Have you come up with what the cost for renting these will be at the range at least?
Yeah, so a week from Wednesday, we're decorating the model home. So 2 weeks from today, we'll actually be open for leasing. Website's live, everything's tracking. The smallest home starts at about 2,800, give or change, and the largest one is about 4,300.
And give us a little bit of an idea about what's out there. 2 bedrooms.
Absolutely. So we have 2-bedroom, slab on grade is the smallest. That's about 1,275 square feet. 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Next up from that is 1,475 square feet. That's a 3-bed, slab on grade, single level plan with 2-car garage. And then we hop into 2-story homes. 1,715 is a 3-bed, small den at the front. And then 1888 is also a 3-bed, little bigger office. And then we go to a 4-bedroom, which is about 2,136 square feet. And then we have about half the lots out there are walkout lots. So then you throw a basement under those, add square footage. Those are all finished basements. So you add a bedroom and a bathroom. So in the walkout configuration, it starts at 3-bed, 3-bath, and then it goes up to a 5-bed, 3.5-bath.
Council, other questions?
So with all those options,
Beretta.
that was 6 or 7 options. it was 2,800 to 4,300 with, that's inclusive of all those options?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
And that comes with your doing like lawn and services and all that type of stuff too?
Absolutely. So snow removal, lawn, irrigation, furnace filters changed, water softeners filled. You can put in a work ticket to have your light bulb changed if you want. Clubhouse access, workout facility, pool. So that's all included.
Will there be, that will be included in the rent, or is there an HOA fee on top of that?
Nope, it's all included in the rent.
Got it. Great. Council, other questions? All right, thank you, Mr.
Great.
Peterson.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no more questions, council, can I get a motion?
Motion to adopt resolution approving final plat for Marsh Hollow Second Edition with findings and conditions as presented and discussed.
I have a motion, can I get a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is item 6.5, adopting resolutions approving the 2022 year-end transfers and assignment of fund balance. Presenting this evening, Assistant City Manager and Finance Director Tricia Pollock. Ms. Pollock, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My slide up here. So the first item that I have before you is the fund balance assignments that are proposed for 2022. And this list of assignments are usually a lot to do with the risk management piece, as you can see in the legal fees, property liability, and work comp insurance renewals. Those are all items that there's some uncertainty that comes along with when we renew mid-year, especially. We don't know what our rates are going to be. So when we go into the 2023 budget season, we're actually trying to budget for half of 24, which we don't know what those costs are going to be. So that 40,000 is in part to compensate in case those rates come in significantly higher. And the other risk management piece is for compensated absences, accrued leave, employee retirement or resignations during the year. Our employees do accrue paid time off, and when they would leave due to a retirement or resignation during the year, we would have to pay out that balance. So this assignment would be to be able to pay those employees that may leave during the year. And then the employee insurance benefits as well. If we have a benefit change during the year, it can be a significant cost if somebody goes on a family plan. It's in excess of $25,000 a person to go on the family plan. So that's what that assignment would be for if we would have that happen, or if there was a vacancy and we rehired and somebody went on the family plan and the person that left was on a single plan. So that money would be available to fund that difference. And then we have community development, unplanned projects, and studies for future development. We normally keep a balance and assignment for those projects. Things come up we don't know about when it comes during the budget season, so that's what that assignment would be for. And then the last two, there was 4 attendees that went to the NLC conference that hadn't been budgeted, so we're assigning $8,000 to pay for that, and then also to repair or replace the City Hall sign that is now broken, that we didn't know about during budget season either. So that's our list of assignments. Does anyone have any questions about any specific line item?
Council, any questions? the list.
Okay, we'll move on to transfers then. So annually, the city either transfers funds from the building permit revenues that exceed budget projections to the Revenue Stabilization Fund, or they'll transfer out for any variance in expenditures that exceed the building permit revenues to cover building-related activities and expenses. So for 2022, building permit expenditures did exceed the revenues, resulting in a difference of $44,553. So that first line item is the transfer per policy. That $44,553 should be transferred out of the Revenue Stabilization Fund to the general fund to cover building-related activities, ensuring that growth pays for growth. The second item, the general fund to the long-term street maintenance fund. Cities each year are required by law to have a balanced budget. So because the city's budget is adopted the year prior, it can be challenging to balance the budget in any given year without shortages or overages in any specific line item. So every dollar expended and received is accounted for within the city's annual budget. And if budget projections differ from actual, the city must take action annually to ensure a balanced budget by authorizing those transfers and assigning the fund balance. So the $200,341 would be to balance the budget for the 2022 year end. And then the next two items are basically housekeeping items. We were going to close out the Marsh Lake Road Project Fund. Finally was complete with all of the funds being paid out of that debt service fund and the project fund. So we are transferring that to the park fund because the Wasserman Park project did go over, and this will help fund a part of that overage. And they were bonded together, so we're allowed to use that money to pay for that. And then the last item is for TIF District 3 fund, which is our pooling fund. Our municipal advisor annually goes through all of our TIF districts for us and sends us a the amounts that she has determined to be in that fund. And so in order to close out TIF 3 and be able to use those pooling funds, we had to put all of that TIF into that fund, which was $16,760 at the end of the day. That was the final number. So this transfer was just to even that up, and we were allowed to take that from any debt service fund. So that's why it came out of the 2011 B2006 Geo Improvement Bonds Fund. And that is all I have. Unless you have questions, we would have two resolutions that you would need to approve for the fund balance assignment and the year-end transfers.
Council, questions?
I actually do.
Yeah, Councilmember Evansky, please.
And in some respects, it's potentially a question of left pocket, right pocket, but if you could bring back the other slide that had what we were transferring.
This one?
If we could just go with the general rationale of moving the 341 out of the general fund into the long-term street maintenance fund, as opposed to moving that into the park fund and moving the 167,265 into the street fund. From what I can see in our materials, the Wasserman Park was over budget by about $214,000. So would we not be better served by trying to make up that shortfall with as much as we could from this, and so that we're not compromising how much we have available for parks? There is seemingly a pretty big agenda that they're going to have for 2023, and the long-term street term project, we know that we have to get ahead of that, but it would, on the surface, it seems that maybe a better transfer would be to put the larger dollars back to cover match the overage that project took place. So we're not handicapping park projects later because of the budget.
Ms. Pollack, can you address that?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So the reason why we chose the recommended the long-term street maintenance fund is because there is a lot of street projects that are currently, we're doing a lot of engineering work for. And with the Steiger Lake Lane West project coming up, we'll need some funding for that. And the park fund right now is fine for the projects that we have in the CIP. So we didn't need to move more money into the park fund per se to make up that difference from that Wasserman overage, where we felt that those funds are needed much more in the long-term street maintenance fund. So that's why staff is recommending the long-term street maintenance fund. Council, it's up to you where you would like to see that money transferred to. However, I strongly recommend the long-term street maintenance fund, just knowing that of the projects that we have coming in the near future in the streets.
I don't have any other questions other than if.
How do you feel about, so let's talk a little bit more about that overage on Lake Wasserman. And it was approximately 214,000, and we're going to throw 167 at it, which brings it down to, where's my math people? Yeah, it brings that down to another 54,000. So does that 54,000 come out of the park fund, but still leaves us enough money to do the projects that are in the CIP for the parks?
Yes, Mayor, that's correct. It does leave us enough to do the projects that we have in the CIP with the planned transfers that we have, the $100,000 that we plan annually to transfer into the parks fund. That made up for that difference. So again, the park fund should be fine. In my long-term plan, I have what Ann had scheduled in there for the new park. So that park fund isn't a maintenance fund, it's for new parks. So generally, we want to use that money that we get from like developments and new developments and revenue that we get from like park dedication. That's what we mostly try to use for those new parks.
Okay, that's good. That answers my questions here. So I guess I wouldn't recommend making any changes to this transfer at this point, knowing that. Does anyone else feel differently about that?
No, thanks, Tricia. Appreciate the answer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Council, any other questions or comments on this? All right, seeing that, we need two motions on this evening. So I'll take a motion for the resolution approving the fund balance assignment and transfers.
Motion for resolution approving fund balance assignment and the transfers for year-end 2022.
I have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And our second resolution approves the year-end transfer from the Revenue Stabilization Fund. Can I get a motion on that, please?
Motion approving 2002 year-end transfer from Revenue Stabilization Fund.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Just a note on this. We have a budget book, a complete budget book online on our website for the public to take a look at. And just want to congratulate the staff for that solid contingency plan for finding ways to cover the shortages and overages in a way that works best for our city. So I appreciate that. Next item, 6.6, adopting a resolution approving plans and specifications and ordering the advertisement for bids for the 2023 street and drainage improvement projects. We are all about infrastructure tonight. Ms. Guerin, our city engineer, is going to take this one for us. Don't take it personally that the whole audience is cool when the engineer comes to speak.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. It's lovely outside, so I will try not to take up too much of your time with this item. I'm going to jump ahead to the schedule quick to talk about where we are. So this item pertains to the 2023 Street and Drainage Improvement Project that the Council has taken several rounds of action on prior to tonight. So the feasibility study was ordered in the fall. The Council accepted the report and called for a public hearing in October. And at that meeting, the Council ordered the improvement and the preparation of plans and specs. So between then and now, our consultant team has been preparing detailed plans and specifications for the project. What we're looking for tonight is adoption of a resolution approving the plans and specifications and ordering the advertisement for bids. If that is approved tonight, we would open bids for the project on May 11th and then bring those back to the City Council for considering awarding a project on May 22nd. So there's just a couple of things I want to highlight. This is just a graphic from the plan set, so it gets a little grainy as you pull it into the PDF. But the streets we're talking about here are 80th Street from Highway 5 to, it kind of ends at a park and a gravel parking lot, as well as Sunflower from 80th to 81st Street, Rose Street from 81st Street to a dead end, and then Trillium Trail, which is an alley that also functions as a throughway for traffic. So I'm not going to actually walk you through these detailed engineering plans, but there were a couple of things that I wanted to highlight that we've been working on. So 80th Street has businesses abutting it, so we've been working pretty closely with those property owners. There's a lot of kind of public and private infrastructure that interfaces right out in front of their businesses. If you were to go out there today by the cabinet business, there's standing water in the place where customers park to get in and get out of the building. So we've been working with those property owners to come up with the proposed drainage improvements to address some of those concerns that exist out there today. We also took a good hard look at the scope for 80th Street. We had our geotechnical engineer do a lot of investigative work for us to see if there was a way that we could avoid removing everything that's there and putting in a new sand section, simply to minimize the impact to the businesses through the construction process. We look to see if we could do a different approach for how we rebuild the road, and concluded that we can't. The subgrade soils are just in too bad a shape there that we do need to go ahead and remove all of them. So we'll be continuing to work with the business owners on the staging plan, as it moves closer to construction, to make sure that we can all get where we need to be and work together when construction happens. The other thing is we did explore the prospect of constructing a paved turnaround area in that existing gravel area that exists at the end of the road. That partially encroaches onto private property. So we've wrapped up the plans right now where we aren't doing significant work in that area. And that was really the development of conversations between the Public Works Department, the Fire Department, and the affected landowner. So trying to come up with a solution that everybody is satisfied with today. So I think we've gotten there, but we're going to meet with the property owner again and continue those conversations as we move towards construction. I did get a question, I can't remember from who or when, but we are replacing 80th Street all the way up to the Highway 5 pavement. If you turn off the road there right now, it's in really bad shape. So we'll have to get a permit from MnDOT in order to complete that work, but that is included in the plans because the road's in pretty bad shape. Trillium Trail, if you recall, there was a property owner who spoke at the public hearing. I think they also spoke at the neighborhood meeting of that vacant lot that the city sold. Right now, there's quite a bit of drainage that washes across the property. So Mark from my team's been meeting with that property owner in the field to see what we could do to improve that situation. So those conversations are ongoing and reflected in the plans. Other than that, we haven't had a lot of interaction with the property owners, but we will be having another neighborhood meeting to go through what the construction process looks like and what they should expect. We'll be creating a project page to provide weekly updates to the affected property owners and anybody who's traveling through the area. So Kendra will be working on that, I think, this week, and we'll have that up and ready so we can start communicating. With that, I think those are the highlights, and so this is the action we would recommend the council consider taking tonight, but of course I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Ms. Guerin, thank you. Council, questions, comments? Yeah, Councilmember Roberts, please.
You mentioned working with the business owners there to make sure drainage issues that they're having or whatever. Do we have a plan in place though too for making sure there's places for their customers to park? I'm assuming during the construction, I'm assuming we're going to do it in phases or whatever so that they're not hurt by that.
Yeah, Councilmember Roberts, Mayor, members of the City Council, Mark from my team is working on developing that both directly with the property owners. We'll only be able to take it so far until we have a contractor on board, but typically we'll write provisions into the bid package to alert the contractor that staging needs to happen. It does seem like all those folks get along with each other pretty well, so hopefully we can all work together to get through it and hopefully can get through it quickly. But it will be frustrating. Sure. In the middle of it, since we couldn't avoid having to go down and put in that new sand section.
Thank you. Councilmember Roberts, anything else? No. Other questions, comments, council? This is sorely needed. Sorely needed. This is a terrible, terrible group of streets here, and we've been kicking the can down the road for a while. So this is sorely needed. So let's move this thing along. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution approving plans and specifications and ordering the advertisements for bids for the 2023 street and drainage improvements.
We've got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Also, I want to note at this juncture, the pothole repair is happening as we speak in the city of Victoria. So.
Mayor, if it's okay, I would maybe just like to take a quick opportunity to note that the Steiger Lake Lane improvement project is in full swing with Excel on site starting to bury overhead power. And they actually are going to have to close the road to cut some crossings this week. So my team's working with Kendra on getting a notification out. That project too will have weekly construction updates that we will create a separate sign up for folks who want to have their email inbox full of weekly construction updates on that project. So we anticipate that when that's ready, I would anticipate that the city manager will be sharing that all with you. But
fantastic.
Construction season is here.
Construction season is here. Thank goodness. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Terrific. With that, there are no more items on our regular agenda tonight. So now we're moving on to reports. And Attorney Vos, you're up first.
Mayor, Council, thank you. I'm happy to say that all remains quiet and calm on the legal front. Two just footnotes that I would give you, just to remind you what you already know. I was asked by staff to give some information to you about some questions or concerns that have been raised about a couple of proposed redevelopments in your downtown area. Happy to talk with you about that individually if you want to raise questions. Probably easier to the extent there might be attorney-client privilege things to do that individually if you have questions. And then sort of related to that, unrelated to that, I have not in the past attended your retreat, your all-day workshop. I'm planning on making a cameo tomorrow in the morning. I don't think I'll stay all day, and I'll probably get out before lunch, but I should be there for a couple hours. So if we need to talk about anything, that'll be a good time as well.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Oh, no, nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hardy, anything from staff?
Nothing from staff.
All right. Council, anything from council this evening?
Just one thing, Mayor.
Councilmember Evansky, please.
At our council meeting on March 13th, we proclaimed April as Volunteer Month. And in our movement towards appointing new members to committees and things, I don't know if we adequately thanked the people who had applied for renewals of their terms and they didn't make it. I don't know if we really got to the spirit of saying how much we really appreciated their commitment, their dedication, and their contributions that they've done. Everybody, as we know, we're all volunteers, and it's a great commitment, and Victoria is lucky to have a deep well of people that are here to serve. And I just wanted to make sure that we wanted to thank those outgoing members, even though they may, they'll be invited to our appreciation. They may choose to show up, they may not, but I want them to know that we appreciate their work and efforts.
Well
Having
said.
served with them, I know that we have, we have great quality people.
Yes, well said, Councilmember Ivansky, thank you. It's something we cannot do enough, is to thank our volunteers. They're very important to our organization, for sure.
I do have one thing too.
Councilmember
A
Roberts,
question
please.
for Ms. Hardy, since we talked about potholes and such. Just curious how it works with, or if you can explain for the public. We hear about sometimes roads that we don't have control over, right? County roads, state, right? So do we work pretty closely with the county, or do we know like their priorities on, for instance, Bavaria going towards Chaska is pretty bad in areas now that I've heard and seen and heard about from other people. Can you explain that a little bit for the public?
Thank you. Madam Mayor, Councilmember Roberts, members of the council. So yes, we do work very closely with our other partners and stakeholders that have roads in the community, so the state and the county primarily. So we, if we are receiving information from residents, businesses, visitors about the condition of those roads, feel free to report that to us anyways, and we have we stay in pretty close communication with those partners that we can share that information. Sometimes if you can, like the state has a lot of roads to cover, so if they may not be here with eyes, but our community members are having eyes on those roads. So if we can feed that information up and get that on the radar sooner, rather than just letting it occur naturally, we certainly are well positioned to facilitate that conversation and share that information with them. So.
That's awesome, thank you. Pothole season 2 is alive and well. All right, anything else, council?
Just a quick comment. It was great.
Councilmember Rafe.
Yeah, it was great to meet the staff, and I think it was a half dozen people, but it's great. The growing staff is great. Thanks for everything you do for everybody in Victoria. So,
Amen. All right, I have big news, friends. I'm excited to share with you. So some members of the staff and I were in Washington, D.C., was it 2 weeks ago already? Boy, the time goes by fast. 2 weeks ago to meet with our congressional delegation to talk about Highway 5 and the expansion of Highway 5. So most of you know, everyone who lives here knows this well, that Highway 5 has not been expanded for capacity in over 50 years, and we have had tremendous growth in that time since then. So we are thrilled to report that in March, we, along with the city of Chanhassen and the county, submitted an application for a federal congressional project funding for Highway 5, which is essentially a direct request for funding from the federal government to our project. And previously through this project, we were awarded $2 million through Congressman Phillips' office, which is being used for the design work that's happening right now. And we learned this past week that Congressman Emmer, who we are now, through redistricting, we are now in Congressman Tom Emmer's district, is moving our project request forward in the appropriations process. And we want to thankfully, or publicly thank him for the $7 million appropriation that he is moving forward for on our behalf for Highway 5. So we are closing the gap on that funding to get that project going, and we are thrilled to add this $7 million to that project. So publicly thanking Congressman Emmer for that funding. So getting closer on that, we'll see how much better we can do. And again, I want to say a big thank you. Tonight is a night for gratitude. A big thank you to our partners at the county. County Engineer Lyndon Robgent has been forceful and deliberate about getting funding for these projects in conjunction with our city engineer, Kara Garrett. So thank you to all of you who have done that, and we are excited for this to be moving forward. And I think we are going to get that project started. Is it too soon to talk about dates?
Mayor, members of the council, we are still in the process of getting the design consultant under contract. So because of the federal funding there and all the funding partners, there's an audit that has to happen by MnDOT before that project can be awarded. So I think I'll get an update on Wednesday. I think they're getting closer to resolving that. There's also an interesting value engineering process where a panel of outsiders are being convened to review the work, the preliminary work that's been done to date, to see if there's a more cost-effective way to do different parts of the project. So I haven't been a part of that process before, so that'll be interesting to see what that entails. But we are anticipating, I think we're thinking the next council meeting that will provide an update on the funding and what the current gaps are. We have this detailed spreadsheet of everything that the county's applied for or partners have applied for, that we thought it might be worthwhile to get that in front of the council so you can get a better picture of where that funding puzzle is at, because it's complicated.
It is complicated, and a puzzle is a good word for it. So fantastic. So stay tuned for more information to come on that, but exciting news for sure. All right, with that, that is the end of our business this evening, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.